Hi guys, Alex is here. I'll tell you a story of my own experience with COVID-19, how I defeated this sickness, and what I've been through. As the founder of the software as a service company, ConveyThis and Translation Cloud, I've been pretty cautious and not cautious. It's just what give you the perspective. What is it like to be a business owner affected by COVID? As you young startuppers who are in this field, you think that you are invincible. You can get everything done. But the sickness makes our own corrections. In my case, when COVID-19 hit United States in 2020, and in March we had a lockdown, everything was exceptionally cautious. So we had to wear masks, we used sanitizers, antiseptics, wipes, the gloves to touch any surface. People were really, and I was very cautious during that time. And to tell you the truth, I wasn't particularly sloppy even to this date. I got sick in November, to be more specifically at Thanksgiving. So anything that I've done to save myself, it was probably effective because I wasn't sick since March. At the same time, I did go to shopping, I did go to supermarket to buy groceries, I went to work. We resumed working shortly after the restrictions on the lockdown were lifted in New York City. So we went back to work in April and stayed at work since then. So nothing was actually affecting me except the Thanksgiving when we were visiting friends and family, and our masks and guards were down, and this is where probably we got that disease. So Thanksgiving dinner was on Thursday night, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I felt okay, but I did feel somewhat strange. I felt like I was getting tired more faster than I used to. On a weekend, we went to hike. Something simple, not like a crazy hiking with a 10-mile stretch. We knew that our bodies are weaker because of the lockdown, quarantine, the gyms are closed, we have less opportunity to exercise. So I took it into consideration, so that the hike was probably just 2 miles long. And then that day I went home, and then when I went to bed I felt incredibly bad. So it was an incubation period, 3 days after poisoning. I felt like I'm getting cold. Yes, it's November, it's lower temperatures, but this one was like nothing else I've seen before. My feet and in my hands were getting such a low blood flow that I couldn't physically get them warmer. I just laid in bed. I took a really weird pose. I asked for additional blankets. I got 3 blankets instead of 1. I got 3 blankets, and then I still couldn't get warmer, and I experienced chills. So that night I didn't sleep well, if I could recall. It was just a horrible sleep, horrible condition. To me, the first night looked like a poisoning of with mushrooms. My grandma used to be a big enthusiast with collecting mushrooms in the forest. And one day, when she got older, her eyesight got weaker. Probably she became more negligent. She collected some mushrooms from the forest on one of her trips and make us a soup. And that soup that I ate had some poisonous mushrooms in it. And that night I was really hallucinating. I saw really crazy stuff in my mind. And then that poisoning was very severe, and it lasted a couple of days. I was even at the point just giving up and going to this to the hospital that specializes in poisoning. So that COVID situation was very similar. Basically, that night I saw some really weird night dreams. I was playing some very complicated chess positions. My situation in chess was getting worse, position getting worse, and there was so many combinations, so many pieces on the board, and I was playing for black, I was playing for white, and can you imagine, like, I was just thinking, how can I get through, That's how body was struggling at this moment, because it was a very situation of life and death. Speaking of which, somewhere in the middle of the night, I just told to my close person that I need to do some kind of last will, because I have a feeling that I cannot make it through this night. So that was this horrible first night. The next morning I took my temperature. It was okay. It was nothing like no fever, no nothing. It's just what happened is I felt like I become like a piece of paper. I have no muscle strength. I have no coordination. Even the trip to the bathroom, and people told me, drink water. It could be COVID or sickness. At first it was, of course, it looks like a cold, getting a real cold. Drink water, drink tea with honey and lemon. So I used to try to drink a lot of liquids, and for that I had to go to the bathroom really often. And what I've realized is, even getting up from bed and going to the hallway, I was hitting myself like elbows, shoulders on the wall, because I couldn't really coordinate well. I felt like I'm poisoned, like I'm really under influence. And I had to go to the bathroom a lot, and this was a logistical nightmare. Can you imagine, like, being so weak? That's the characterization of the sickness, is being super weak. Like, no matter how strong or tall you are, how much will you have, you're gonna get weak. And people around you, they might not believe that. People might feel like, oh, you're a big guy, you have to be strong, you have to be this, you have to be that. So stay away from these negative people. In COVID, you have no choice but to lay down and just face your destiny. The following day, my temperature started to go up. So I took the thermometer, and it went to 37.5 degrees. It didn't go too crazy. It didn't go to 40 like some people experience, but it's because I have a lower immune response. I'm a person with pre-existing medical conditions, with chronic diseases, and to me it was a much scarier situation. It was a much scarier situation because I didn't know how my immune system would actually respond. If that would not detect the virus, I would be not recording this video with you guys. So I was in this limbo situation for the whole whole week, starting from Sunday night till Friday. On Friday I started feeling a little bit okay, and maybe I was bored. Maybe I started to read or one thing I forgot to mention, I couldn't even read or even watch the TV. Many of you have like iPads, smartphones. You can watch TV anywhere, when you go to the bathroom, when you're sleeping, right, on the side. When you're sick with COVID, you cannot watch anything. You have no strength even to open your eyes. My eyeballs, my eyelids were sore. It's like after the exercise, you have a sore muscle. Even my eyes were sore. My neck was sore. My lower back was sore. You cannot find a comfortable position to even not sit, even lay down on the side, on the stomach, on the back. Everything hurts like hell. So forget about reading books, forget about sitting straight and doing some productive work from home. You cannot do anything. That's the remark I want to stress. And on Friday I felt I'm getting at least something, so I can get up from bed, I can maybe read for 30 minutes, and not do much of course, but still I can do at least something. And on Friday I did some physical work. I think I moved the garbage outside or something like that. Something like when I took the stairs, since I live on 2 levels. I took the stairs and I did something heavy lifting. Not real heavy lift, but it was heavier than lifting my body. And then on Saturday it hit me again, like hit me super hard. So the moral for you who are watching this, and if you're, God forbid, you're sick, try to remain abstain from physical activity as much as possible. This disease is unlike any other disease. It affects you on so many levels, and physical is one of the core symptoms. If you are trying to remain active and physically active, you may hurt yourself very badly. So the best advice is to let your body do the work. Try to remain, chained to bed as much as you can. Resist the temptation to do any work, especially lifting something. So that was my mistake. I had no information online, and on Saturday I got hit again. My condition got much worse. But then I texted my good friend from Belarus, and I asked him, how you been? Haven't seen you around. And he texted me back that he's sick with COVID. And I said, oh yeah, that's very coincidental, because I'm sick with COVID as well. He's like, wow, really? What a coincidence. 2 friends living in 2 different countries are getting sick with COVID at the same time. He was sicker probably 1 week earlier than me, and his symptoms was coughing, and my symptoms were lack of strength, like a muscle pain. And he told me one great thing. He said, like, Alex, why can't you try this drug? It's a Chinese herbal drug. It's anti-inflammatory. I said, okay, I will look it up. We went on eBay, tried to look up this drug on eBay, and it was selling for $4 per pack before, but then the prices went up to $20 per pack. That's how expensive it became. But when you are at the situation of life and death, you have no choice. $20 is not worth dying for. So we ordered 2 packs of this pills. You have to take 4 pills 3 times per day. And that night, Saturday night, I started feeling so much better. I mean, I could, for the first time in the week, all my night dreams were really bad because I was sweating, I was losing water, I was drinking water, I went to the bathroom. I was devastated. My bed was like stinky from my sweat. But after I took this anti-inflammatory drug, or it's over the counter, so it's not considered a drug, it's just a supplement, I felt immediately relieved. I still had the symptoms, I still had the muscle pain, but I was able to sleep that night, like from 9 to 9, like 12 hours straight, like a baby. I just slept, which was very healing, very helpful to defeat the virus. One advice I could give is that aspirin, the blood thinner drug, is not very effective. It can work as a painkiller. It can help you to get rid of some pain, but the main cause is it's a blood thinner. Basically, if you are experiencing some problems with blood circulation, and in my case, I had a very dark hands because the blood was not going well there, and my feet were always cold. I had to get this electrical blanket just to put my feet on it and warm them up, like force warm them with energy, like electricity. Otherwise, it's like I feel like I'm like a dying patient. This is not my legs. It's like so stiff, so cold in my hands. When you look at your skin, you could see like dark veins at your fingers. I've never seen anything like it before. I was horrified. So one of the possible uses of aspirin is to improve your blood flow. That was my main issue. But I took the aspirin almost from day one when I got sick with COVID, and that first week before I took the Chinese drug, it wasn't really helping me much. I couldn't sleep well. I was suffering. I was feeling tortured tremendously. It's just a tremendous disease. So second week when I started taking the drug, I started feeling okay, normal. I was able to sit straight. Finally, I was able to resume watching YouTube, replying to some emails, working from home because I'm still in charge of the company, and I wanted to make sure that we're still getting our stuff done. Luckily, no one else in our company got sick during that period, so everything remained more or less stable. And then I took two tests. First test I took on Monday. So I got sick on Sunday, and on Monday I went to do the test. In America, we have the mobile testing centers. It's basically a bus parked on the street, on the side of the street, with a tent, like a camping tent. Inside of the tent sitting the nurses, people taking information. You give them your driver license and a copy of the insurance if you have, and they take down the information, and then you go to the bus. In the bus, the guy puts like a tampon, this long stick with the white t-shirt on it, scrubs your nasal left and right, and then put those samples into the plastic bag, zips it, and then sends it to the lab for the analysis. So this test itself probably takes all in all 5 minutes, but you have to wait 2-3 days for the lab results to appear online. So you need to download the QR code, look up the URL of the lab, register at the lab, and then log in and see the results. So my first results was positive, and then at this moment I realized, oh my god, I'm so fucked. I'm sick with COVID, and my chances are very slim. So first 2 weeks when I started taking the Chinese drugs, I went again to test, and then the nurse, when they learned that I was tested 2 weeks ago, she started to freak out. She's like, no sir, you cannot go into the bus, you need to stay outside. I'm like, why am I meant to stay outside? You're wearing all the protection gear, you're in a mask, you're in this face shield, why should I stay outside? No. And then I was like pushy. I was kind of maybe rude to her, but I felt offended by her attitude. So I still got into the bus. They took the sample again. This time I think she really got like, she wanted to take a revenge on me. She scooped my nozzle like so deep, so hard, that I was like, oh, stop. I was about to cry, because when you scrub your nose until you get to the sensitive areas, your tears come out. And she used those tampons, very low quality. So the next day my nose started to sneeze so badly. It was just water. It was not like a cold sneeze. It was just water dripping out of your nose. Gosh, I used so many napkins to get through this. My diaphragm probably was very irritated by that. Maybe when she scrubbed it, one of those little particles got stuck in a tissue. So she removed the stick, but that particle left there, and that particle irritated the nasal diaphragm. For which I had to spray my water inside and try to sneeze in and out to wash it through, to make sure I can feel okay. So that was my second test, which also came out to be positive. I was horrified because the other people in my household started to recover. The second test they did was negative. So that means I was in a medium severity category. Some people don't feel like they're getting too much of a sickness, but me, given my history of pre-existing conditions, I was in a medium category to fight the test. I was lucky enough not to get hospitalized, because I was so close on getting to call it 911 and go into the hospital. But in the hospital there is no simple way to do it. The guy on the plaza tries to go like 40 miles per hour. People crossing the street, doesn't matter. It's America, guys. People come here from all other places, so they bring their piece of their rudeness and culture with them when they immigrate here. So, after all in all, I would say my situation took me 3 weeks of being in a pre-coma situation. I was like a napkin for 3 weeks. I barely could do any physical work, and I would advise you, if you do get sick with COVID, do not do any physical work. You might think that you're still a big, strong guy, and you can do it, you can motivate yourself, like why not? It's just your heavy breathing. I had a heavy breathing. I go upstairs and I get a heavy breathing. If I lift something, I would be my heart will be racing like I was 80-year-old guy. It's just, it makes you feel like you really got old. No matter how young you are, you're just not gonna make it. So what other people are saying is, and I can warn you, is do not try to be a hero and celebrate and drink alcohol and do any physical work even after you recover and your test shows negative. The reason is COVID is a new sickness. It affects you on so many levels. It weakens your pre-existing problems. And if you had something like kidney problems, liver problems, heart problems, the COVID can exacerbate that. And there are some cases, some neighbors, they died 2 weeks after recovering from COVID, from their some conditions. They went to celebrate, to barbecue, to drink some vodka, to smoke maybe, blah blah blah, with friends, party, and boom, they're dead. You cannot do anything about it. So in their autopsy, the doctor will probably write death from something else, and it will not be directly attributed to COVID, but we people know that it was first the COVID made you so weak, and only then you died from something else. So that's the story. That's the moral of the story. I was sick from Thanksgiving, and I barely recovered till Christmas. So this whole month, since November to December, I was sick. I was staying home in self-isolation, and I recommend you guys, if you get sick, just stay home and do not do any physical work. Drink aspirin, drink the Chinese drug for anti-inflammatory purpose, and just pray you're gonna make it. Keep your thoughts positive. Try to watch something that you enjoy, some comedy, some anecdotes, because positive thoughts, they help to boost your mood and your immune system. All this negativity that you're gonna die, you need a last wheel, it's all just gonna pressure you into a downward spiral. So the best way to avoid this is not to think about it much. For me, I picked up a new skill when I was sick. I went to learn the Rubik cube, how to solve the Rubik cube. This 3x3 cube, 3x3 square cube. That was something I enjoyed. In the beginning, I've been dragging this for a long time. I always wanted to learn how to do that, and there's some specific algorithms that I never find a way to do it. And my dad once tried to show me that, but I couldn't stay focused long enough, so I didn't pick it up. Besides, like, collecting the first side and the first 2 rows. It's the last row and the last side is the most difficult one when you assemble the cubic Rubik. But in essence, now you just understand that this is just an algorithm, and to master it, you need to just learn it and apply it. And there's nothing else. There's no like random chance of doing it. It's strictly enforceable algorithm. There is no way you cannot assemble the Rubik's cube unless it's distorted, in the sense that when you take the pieces apart, and some pieces is inserted back in the wrong way. So this way you cannot put it back on. So guys, so that's my story. That's my advice to you. I hope and pray that you will be not affected by COVID, that you would be more lucky than me, and you will make it through with the least amount of worries as possible. Share the part of your story down there in the description if you'd like. Let's see how you felt when you got sick with COVID. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.